The names of some of racing's finest gallopers are etched on this trophy. Their legacies confirmed as Derby champions. There are richer, more glamorous targets, but it's the Derby that remains the trainer's purest pursuit. It's not just tradition and history, it's the challenge, that singular shot. Choose the horse and plot your course to the first Saturday in March for the classic test at 2,400 metres. It's hard not to think that this year's Trackside New Zealand Derby won't be remembered as an ode to orchestral.
I reckon Roger's got another silent achiever on his hands.
Silent achiever!
Derby favourites have faltered in the past. The mile and a half just a stride too far for many brilliant three-year-olds.
Gates open, they're after the Avondale Guineas. She cannot.
But this filly only seems to find her full voice past the post. An ominous sign for those she's left behind.
And boom, just like that, the orchestral a class above them.
And on the face of it, no cracks to be found in orchestral, with 7 Derby wins between the jockey and trainers. Do we engrave the big O on the Derby trophy now? No, because it's the Derby. Orchestral's rivals will not shoulder arms. They will not wave the white flag. That's the thing about the Derby. There's just one shot, and the throne still has to be earned.
It's sharp and smart, the lead.
The Trackside New Zealand Derby is, and always will be, racing's greatest challenge.
Sharp and smart in front, sharp and smart wins the Derby.
Hello and welcome to the Karaka Sales Complex. There's so much excitement and atmosphere here. We look forward to making history at Karaka this evening. 2 of the most iconic races of the New Zealand turf. They come together, the old and the new. We kick things off with the New Zealand Derby draw for 2024. Following on from that, it's the auction for the NZB Kiwi, where our slot holders for the next 3 years are decided. All of that to come here on Trackside this evening. I'm going to be going through all of the action with Aidan Rodley and Bruce Sherwin. Aidan, as we come to you, what an incredible evening we have ahead of us.
Yes, so exciting. Hi, Emily, and to the viewers at home tuning into our coverage. Welcome in. Bruce Sherwin with us. And Bruce, it is the old and the new. It's the tradition of the Derby and the new inception of this NZB Kiwi. How exciting is tonight for you?
And what an iconic venue. Could it be more appropriate here at the Caracas Sales Ring, the auditorium, the Sir Patrick Hogan Auditorium, as we discuss the old and the new, as you say, with the slot race, the $4.5 million Karaka Kiwi, NZB Kiwi, and then the iconic New Zealand Derby.
Just tell us about the Derby draw, which we're about to see. What are the implications of barrier draws here, especially around our favourite orchestral?
Well, it doesn't matter at all. The barrier draw, she's been so dominant and so brilliant through the Karaka 3-year-old and the Avondale Guineas. Does it matter whether she draws barrier 1 or 17? I'm not sure. She's looked brilliant, and she could start one of the shortest price favourites we've seen in a Derby.
And off the back of the barrier draw, Bruce, we've got the bidding on slots in this NZB Kiwi. What are the tactics likely to be?
Yeah, well, that's the big question. Tactics. Do you go early? Is it generally in an auction, an early lot is the way to go in terms of value for money? But will everyone have the same idea? The strategy is going to be intriguing.
Yeah, sure will. We can't wait for it, Emily. We'll be getting all the expert analysis from Bruce Sherwin as part of our coverage tonight.
Thanks for that, Aidan. Really looking forward to getting the night underway. Before we get into the draw, let's first have a look at the field for the 2024 Trackside New Zealand Derby. And of course, the headline act is without a doubt orchestral. It is all about her and how she's going to dominate this New Zealand Derby. As we heard from Bruce there, does the draw matter? That's what's going to unfold ahead of us. Of the other contenders, well, there's plenty of them. It's just as sharp, certainly one that we have to consider alongside Ascend the Throne. And what about the Australian Raider in the form of Interlinked? I know the team are really happy with how Interlinked is tracking along in preparation for the Derby. We've seen in recent years some short-priced favourites that have been beaten in the Derby. But let's find out how that draw is going to unfold ahead of us this evening at the Karaka Sales Complex. Mick Guerin, I'll hand it over to you to complete the draw.
Yeah, thank you, Emily. Nice to be working with you again, and to all our viewers overseas, whether that's via Facebook or via New Zealand's TRB Trackside channel. Great to have your company for the draw for one of our historic races. It is very apt we are here at the place where we sell so many of our great horses, because so many of our Derby winners have been sold on this exact property by New Zealand Bloodstock. Asterix won a couple of years ago. He was over there in H37. A few years before that, Ginger Nuts came here twice. He was sold here both as a ready-to-run horse, and he was sold also as a younger horse. The great Mongolian Khan won 2 derbies in 6 weeks. He was sold here from box H21. Excellent was sold out of Albarn here back in his day. Went on to be, of course, a Melbourne Cup place getter. And our favourite for Saturday's Derby, one of the shortest priced favourites in New Zealand Derby history, in Orchestral, she was sold just over there in B-Barn, B44. They were the numbers that they had to start that new phase of their career when they left here as yearlings or 2-year-olds through to ready to run. Now we find them a new bunch of numbers, the numbers which they will start our most historic and some would say most important race from, at the 2,400 metre start point at our new Ellerslie track on Saturday. Well, before we got you here on air, we had the chance to draw the order the connections of these horses will draw for. What they will do is come forward. They will show which bottle of champagne here on our 2 tables they would like to represent their horse. Brodie Jones will pick up the bottle, our stipendiary steward. He will then show that to you, and we will have the barrier draw. So each of these 17 bottles has a barrier draw underneath it. Let us begin. Brodie, the first horse and the first draw of this draw was done just minutes ago under the auspices of the Racing Integrity Board, is Perfect Mans. So Perfect Mans will be the first horse to draw. As you welcome forward, Patrick Cunningham. Great to have Paddy here. But so many of our representatives tonight don't have the option to be here because obviously they are trainers or they are outside the region. And Brodie, we get what? 17. Paddy Cunningham making friends for life here at Karaka. You picked a bad one too. Sean Phelan's not going to take that well. Here we go. Maybe Andrew Buick can come up with something better. He is Moss Invader, of course, finished second in the Waikato Guineas. It's daunting at the start. Making friends. Barrier 4 for Moss Invader. So good people to get on side with, a very in-form Wexford stables. 2 down, and you would say potentially a negative and a positive, although there is a very long run to that first bend. Atrium Coast, Dylan Johnson coming forward. Of course, this one by Rock the Cams, who has already left a Derby winner in the Great Vinda Dance. Barrier 1. Happy with that, Dill? Happy enough. Look happy enough. Antrim Coast. Better than 17. Well, it wasn't available for you. Barrier 1 for Antrim Coast. Who's up next, Brodie? Renegade Rebel. The Ginger Nuts Salvo winner. Kane Jones, a man who spends a lot of time here at Karaka in the numbers game. He's got this one right. Barrier 2 for Renegade Rebel. Good barrier. So a couple of good ones gone. A couple of bigger numbers gone as well. Next up, Cinnamon. Some of the more famous colours, the most successful colours in New Zealand racing over the last decade. You're going to point to your bottle. You can have the bottle soon. He needs to touch it first, and then you can have it. Cinnamon gets barrier 14. That's all right. Barrier 14, that's okay, apparently. 14's okay. Brodie? Anaroa. Great to have more CD horses here. And of course has one over the 50 metres, so knows what it's like to get out in distance. Barrier 3, that'll do nicely. Barrier 3 for Anaroa. Great to have our friends from the Hawke's Bay there. Solidify. One of the more remarkable stories, dual 2-year-old winner for one of the most remarkable trainers, the head of Team Rogerson, Graham Rogerson, gets barrier 15, and he tried to get the bottle of champagne. You're lucky he didn't. He would have tried to sell it to somebody out there for twice what it's worth anytime shortly.
Ascend the throne.
Okay, Ascend the Throne, the Waikato Guineas winner. And as we know, Waikato Guineas winning form, we've got the heavy hitters now. We've gone from Rogie to David Ellis. And David has gone for, congratulations, David, 2 Tiakos getting in. Barrier 10. So barrier 10 for Ascend the Throne. Who's up next, Brodie? High Country. Well done to Tony Pike. Unbelievably, of the 17 horses, barrier 12, of the 17 horses in this race, 12 are trained by trainers who have trained the Derby winner before. So 12 of them trained by Derby-winning trainers at Ellerslie in the past, or last year, of course, with Rogie and Team Rogerson at Te Rapa. What you wish for, Rhys Trumper, who is the racing manager for Te Aka. We want to have a word to Rhys, get the inside on these two horses. Barrier 5. Rhys, pop your number up and then we'll have a quick word to you. Rhys, one of the young guns of New Zealand racing. Mate, this horse was under a question mark. He wasn't as good as he could be in the Avondale Guineas. Obviously, you guys have liked what you've seen since to take him here this Saturday.
The delay to the Avondale Guineas just upset him a lot. He was all set, ready to go, and then had to wait an hour. He's a horse that enjoys routine, and he got out of his routine. If he ran a nice race in that, and he ran a nice race in the Waikato Guineas, he's probably half the price. He covered more ground than anything in the Waikato Guineas, and he was able to beat some very good horses. His work between races at Matamata on Saturday was really good. Opie gave him the tick of approval and that we should be heading to this race. Okay, Ascend the Throne, obviously very good at Waikato. And look, the race probably didn't pan out exactly how you guys wanted for him in the Avondale Guineas. Exactly, the draw didn't help us. We had to go back, and no offence, but a lot of slow horses got in his way and he didn't get rolling when he needed to, but he finished off the race stronger than anything in the race. Okay, great result we saw recently with Imperatriz, and I believe there's 2 options for her now on March the 9th. That's pretty exciting. She could return to Sydney. She could, if the handicapper plays his role, turn up at the Newmarket, trying to equal Black Caviar feet. So it's pretty incredible when you have this much interest on a horse from your barn. Exactly. She's made us very proud. I don't think anyone thought she was this good, but she just keeps raising the bar, and I know that there's still a lot of doubters out there in the public, including Australian trainers, but she just keeps kicking their asses, which is good. That's the attitude, Rhys. Good on you, mate. Thank you. He's getting good at this, Rhys Trumper. He knows what to say. He's getting good at it. Who's up next, Brody? Just as Sharp. Man, maybe he's the horse who's arrived the most in the last 6 weeks. I mean, Orchestral has obviously been outstanding. We know that from the market, but man, he has been good. Barrier 16. Well, Roger, put your number up and come have a word to us, because you've got 2 very interesting horses in this Derby draw. And well, one thing about Justice Sharp, we know he can come from back in the field because he was quite remarkable in the $1.5 million Karaka Millions 3-year-old we saw just recently. And then again, very strong, went second in the Avondale Guineas. So he's on our 3rd line of favouritism. And the defending champion trainer, Graham Rogerson, the patriarch of Team Rogerson. Let's start on this horse. He looks like he'll run 2,400 metres. He's not really bred to run 2,400 metres. Will he run 2,400 metres?
He don't know that. Lloyd Williams once told me, we bought my Mahogany. He said he'll win the Derby. I said he's bred to go 1,000 metres. He won the 3 Derbies and the 1,000 metres and the 1,200. So it just shows you. But he's, I think he's a stone horse. Solidify has always looked a good horse. He needed a little bit of an operation to straighten him out, but he won like the horse he is, and maybe he could even be a better horse in the future when he won at Otaki the other day. He drawn out wide, but I pity the ones drawn inside them. They'll both come across together. I said, I hope there's room for everyone. Who's your better chance of winning the Trackside New Zealand Derby at Ellerslie on Saturday? I think you can put a case for 4 or 5 horses. Who's your best chance? If they run first and second, I'll be happy. Okay, that's good then, Graham. Some things don't change. You're the defending champion. You've still got that title for 4 more days. You might have it for another 369 or something. So we wish you the best of luck for Team Rogerson on Saturday, mate. Yeah, I just got to tell my jockeys they got to ride for luck. Okay. Looking forward to it. That's Graham Rogerson, the boss of Team Rogerson, who, of course, won the Derby last year with Sharp and Smart. Okay, Orchestral. There's a lot of numbers in the middle still to go. There's a lot of big numbers are gone. That's probably of some
happiness to this man making the selection. Barrier 9. If you don't mind putting that up there at barrier 9 and coming and having a word to me, orchestral barrier 9, that would be exactly mid-pack. 17 horses, barrier 9 puts it in the middle. All right, when you came here, good to have you here. You're having a great run. I hope you enjoy the next couple of days. When you came here tonight, what were you hoping for?
Well, I was instructed to get barrier 3 to 7.
It's not a disaster. You've got close enough.
Yeah, I didn't do not too bad.
Tell him you can't count. She beat an amazing horse, Orchestral. Like, I know Roger and Robert have had to be so patient for her after the way the spring started, but sometimes they just turn up and everybody knows what they're looking at. Everybody knows they're looking at a good horse who might well be a great horse.
Well, you never know your luck.
Let's hope so. Good luck on Saturday. Let's hope she gets around safe and gets her chance.
Thanks very much.
Orchestral, your favourite for the Trackside New Zealand Derby, gets barrier 9. Interlinked, great to have the Australians here. Trent Murphy is the travelling foreman for the other Trent and Natalie, and they get barrier 6. So Interlinked, owned by OTI, who of course have had Derby success. And Trent, we had to come back here for a sec since you put the suit on. I know it's not your cup of tea. Horse was good, I thought, in the Avondale Guineas, and talking to Trent this week, he said the horse is even better now. He's more settled and he's a happy horse.
He's travelled over brilliantly. He's settled in brilliantly at Cambridge Stud. They've looked after us fantastically, Brendan and Joe and Lance. But yeah, the horse has improved since off that last run.
Okay, and he looks like the type of horse, the way he hit the line in the Avondale Guineas at 2,400 should suit.
I don't think there'll be any problem. Yeah.
You enjoy New Zealand?
Love it.
Good man.
Thank you. Cheers.
Good to have you here. It's Trent from the Bussett and Rogerson team. Trans Z. Wasn't it wonderful to have one of the legends, and I mean absolute legends of Australasian racing, and John Wheeler having a horse in the Derby. Barrier 13 for Trans Z. Thank you, Darren. As I said, we have many representatives of the horses who aren't actually involved for this draw because many of them do live outside our region and haven't been able to make it here yet. Next up is First Innings. Michael Hughes to do the draw after helping find this horse for the owners in Queensland. Barrier 7. You'd be happy with that, Hughesy? Come over here. No, come here. Show off your new svelte body. I think svelte's the word they use for it. Come over here. There's no point getting all skinny if you can't get on TV. This is a pretty good horse, and he's arrived on the scene late, and there's a little bit of Murray Baker, Andrew Forsman about this horse, isn't there?
Yeah, no, I'm pretty happy with the way things are going. So
you said to me last week, I'm not sure we can beat the filly, but he deserves to be there.
Yeah.
Can you beat the filly?
Well, I didn't think they could beat La Creek, so, she was pretty short price favourite in the filly, so look, he'll be fit enough and he'll be running on, so bit of luck. See how we get on.
What did you make of your barrier?
Yeah, happy with that.
Good man. Good to see you, Hughesy.
Okay.
One of the smartest bloodstock agents in the game, Michael Hughes. Great to have him here. Monday Melody. Now, talk about people who know how to train Derby winners, or for that matter, 1,000 Guineas winners, and Timo Sullivan of Wexford. Sullivan Scott just absolutely training up a storm at the moment, and the Derby has been their race over the last 5 years. They get barrier 11. So barrier 11 for Monday Melody, who is a rarity. He's an Australian bred horse in the New Zealand Derby. And our last one, Brodie, just to make sure we get it right. City Gold Ready. This is the part of barrier draws I always hate, because if this part goes wrong, it's going to be an awfully long next 10 minutes. Okay. Barrier 8. Lovely. We now have your barrier draw for the Guineas. So the TAB are watching, obviously. They're going to reopen this market shortly. I wouldn't suggest the market's going to change enormously in the first 10 minutes until you start betting or we see some changes. Moss and Vader's got a good draw. Interlink, they'll be happy with that. First innings, what you wish for, all have good. One would suggest Orchestral is in a neutral draw from a market perspective, and a couple of those drawn out wide may drift in the markets, but there is 2,400 metres and a very, very long run to the first straight. Tab will have those odds up for us. We thank all the connections for being available to us tonight. Of course, to get things rolling earlier so we can get this as part of our slot auction tonight. The connections, you can come back and grab your champagne bottle on the way through. And please, now, if all of you can make your way to the auditorium named after one of the great men of Australasian racing, the Sir Patrick Hogan Auditorium, we very shortly will start the slot auction. 9 of them available. Maybe the advice is to go early for the first running of the $3.5 million NZB Kiwi. Let's see how we get on for that. As I head back to you, Emily, we are now on the cusp of a very historic moment for New Zealand racing.
Yes, we sure are on the cusp of a very historic moment. An incredible barrier draw. I suppose first things first, Bruce, let's talk about Orchestral. What do you make of that draw?
I think they'd be happy enough with that. It was probably better that she drew a middle barrier than perhaps getting blocked away on the inside and coming up with traffic. In saying that, they probably are going to have to come up with some sort of plan. Could be 3 wide from cover off my doodling of a speed map as those numbers were coming out. The race looked like no speed prior. Renegade Rebel looks the leader from the inside gate, but I think there is some speed added with the 2 Rogerson runners drawn wide and also coming over from wide. There was another one there, First Innings might be pressing forward, so it makes it very interesting, I think, and more speed than I first imagined looking at it.
When we look back at Roger James's history in the race, we just got to cast our minds back to 2012 with Silent Achiever. She drew 7, so pretty similar really when you think about it.
Yeah, not dissimilar. So, and she looks like she could start one of the shortest favourites in history, but as we look back, and it was mentioned there during the barrier draw, La Creek started $1.30 just 2 years ago, and she was beaten. This time we've got Orchestral. I think she's got more strings to her bow, and I think we take solace from Roger James and Robert Wellwood. They had a potential Derby favourite in Pro S just last year, and they elected not to run, thinking she wouldn't stay. Everything we've seen from Orchestral and looking at her pedigree suggests the 2,400 metres should hold no fears, and she's just been so good through the line in most of her races as well.
Yeah, couldn't agree more with you. Aidan, you were right there as the action unfolded. What are your thoughts around the Derby draw?
Yeah, absolutely, and it is all around the Orchestral. Colin Litt, a man who's been happy to be in behind the scenes, getting up there and drawing out the number and speaking to Michael Guerin afterwards as well. Him and his wife Helen, they'll be just on tenterhooks in the last few days because everything has gone right for the team, and obviously her win in the Avondale Guineas, absolute first rate. She's a worthy favourite, and she comes out of a barrier draw where we've seen some stars come out of in the past. Hale won this in 2000, excellent in 2004 from that barrier of 9. So yeah, she's really nicely placed. Outside that, yeah, interesting to hear the thoughts there of Graham Rogerson speaking to Mick just around his thoughts about coming across. But we know Roger can sometimes just keep his cards pretty close to his chest. Maybe he's just foxing a little bit as well. Will we see them both go forward? We didn't see much speed from Solidify on Saturday, and just as sharp, I think he's more potent from in behind. So yeah, really interesting barrier draw, but I think everything A-OK around Orchestral.
Great stuff, Aidan. Back with you shortly. It's all ahead of us. Part 1 is done in terms of the 2024 New Zealand Derby draw. Now we move on to stage 2 as people file into the auditorium. Who will win a slot and for how much? That's next. The NZB Kiwi auction coming to you live here on Trackside. Before we get there, as people work their way into the auditorium for our history-making first auction, we leave you with a look back at the Avondale Guineas.
I've got a mic on, so no naughty chat.
The 3 horses look great, Sam.
Yeah. Just a real good warm-up at the start, a good trot. Yeah, just try to wake him up a bit and try to put him up in the race again. Yeah, keep him behind the speed somewhere there. And don't be afraid to left hand, right hand. Yeah. Get him going. Just cold. Just out the back. Yeah, cold. You'll work it out, mate. Just give him a good warm-up at the start. You're probably the niggly one. Just I think just a real good warm-up at the start. Yeah. Ride him where he's happy. Just keep in mind, I'd rather probably be neutral and hitting the line rather than going forward with the view to the Derby and stopping. So just a bit of cover midfield, but if not, you're going to probably have to slide back somewhere. Cool.
Slow down. We'll run later on now. Just walk, good girl. Let's show the boys who is the queen, eh? Good girl. Hey, Greg. How are you?
Good, you?
Ready to win?
Yeah, bloody hell.
Perfect. She's feeling really well, yeah. I think she's even fitter than Chameleon. And she's way more settled as well than last time. It's good.
She's coming into her own.
She got up here. Hey? Jeez, I'm sweating a bit now.
I don't know why, I'm more nervous than Chameleon now. Please jump, please jump.
Gates open, they're off on the Eagle Technology, Avondale Ganesh. She came away okay, Orchestral, settled back about midfield.
Tokyo's going to have a good run. Other two are a bit far back. Looks like they're going at a good enough clip at the moment. He's on the rail now, isn't he? Orchestra's in a good spot.
These next is perfect man centre link. Now Orchestral, she's been taken to the outside.
Come on, darling.
And she's starting to charge.
Come on, darling.
Chopped out of it.
Come on, come on.
Oh God, she's good.
Good girl. She's too good, eh?
Yeah, seeing the throne was good. The other two are a bit. Geez, she's good, that horse. Get the wash up.
She's too good, isn't she?
That was pretty incredible.
Well done, Roger.
Thank you.
Well done.
Oh, thanks.
Awesome.
Well done, Roger. She's pretty special, isn't she?
Yeah, look after that one.
How good?
Easy.
She's, yeah.
Perfect run too.
Perfect. Really good ride. She's not even blowing. She's heavy.
What do you think?
From his position, it kept him in the hunt for a while.
Yeah.
The last 200
Nothing.
years walking.
Yeah. Doesn't say.
Well done.
Thank you. Thank you to you.
Good girl.
Any excuses? Not really. She never travelled.
Right from Junction? Yeah. I was straight even catching the last couple, but there's nothing there. Yeah. And I was like that all the way.
That was right, eh, matey? Yeah.
You're left for 2,500 metres up.
Yeah.
So first time, so that's good.
Cheers, mate. Oh, we'll go again.
No, all good. Yeah, I will take her, give her a shower.